Alright, welcome back to the channel. Warhammer Man back in the studio, and today we're taking a look at the new reveal from Games Workshop. They have already announced that there's going to be a new edition of Age of Sigmar for Warhammer, and in the same way that there was a 9th edition reveal and they released the Indominus box set, it appears that they're going to be releasing a similar style box set for Warhammer Age of Sigmar. And in this case, it does not appear to have the new rulebook in it, so I'm sure there'll be a different box set coming out later that will include that. But this one appears to be just the armies themselves. So we have the Stormcast Eternals and the Orcs are going to be in this one. And they have completely revamped the models. So they still fit with the existing lines, but, well, we'll just take a look. Alright, so this is the preview Warhammer Age of Sigmar, and there's like a little sort of like video at the beginning just kind of showing off a couple of models, but we'll go through and do like the actual breakdowns. And I'm sure you can tell right away that they have sort of like made everything a little more athletic, and in the case of the Orcs, a little less cartoony. It sort of reminds me of like the Age or the Lord of the Rings style models. And then as far as the Stormcast Eternals models are concerned, they are like a little more athletic looking than the previous editions. So definitely excited to look. So here's the Dominion box. This is the one coming out. So first we have this model. They've already previewed this. So we've already seen this is Gendrosta, Stormcast Eternal with the Celestial Spear. So this one is sort of like an angel style Stormcast model. Very cool character and awesome scenic base. You can kind of get an idea as to the overall size in comparison to some of the other models when they show them as well. So, but very, very good looking model. Awesome sculpt. Definitely excited for this one. And she is a female. It's tough to tell with the models and everything, but she is definitely a female. Very nice base. Overall great model. Sort of reminds me of the Blood Angels Primarch with the spear and the sword, and then obviously like the angel's wings as well. So I'm sure at some point in time we're going to see this in quite a few conversions also. So, and if you're new to the channel, make sure you like and subscribe for more videos like this. Next we have Stormcast Eternal Lord Imperatant with the Gryph-hound. So he has basically like his Gryph-hound or like dog companion. You can see obviously that he has two different options for the head. There's the helmeted head and the bear head. Very nice looking armor. Once again, you can see how much more athletic these models look. The old Stormcast are like kind of stubby looking, and these ones are like much more like athletic, a little more like lightly armored, and definitely have like a Spartan kind of feel to them. You can see they has like the kind of Gryph-hound or Griffin looking like piece on him. So he has like the Griffin head right there, and then you can see like the feathered cloak and everything. But great looking model overall. I'm not sure exactly like what kind of rules or anything he will have or anything like that, but he definitely has a big boy hammer. Here's like the little video that they show. Essentially, it's basically just sort of revealing like the orcs. You can see this video in like full size and all the volume and everything if you want. It's easy to find. Just look under the new Warhammer release. But essentially this is just like the preview kind of showing off who they're going to be fighting, as they didn't originally say initially, but you know, it's obviously the orcs. I've already kind of spoiler alerted that one. So but this Dominion box looks great. He is the second of the characters that are going to be coming out in this box set, and we will get on to the third one in just a moment here as well. But so far so good. And to tell you the truth, you know, these should fit in real nicely with the old Stormcast models. They'll definitely have like a little more of an athletic look to them, and you'll be able to distinguish them. But there's no reason they're not going to be able to be used together. But the orcs are like a completely new game. So they're not going to blend in too well with the old ones, because they just look so much more phenomenal than the old kind of cartoony models. But we'll get to them shortly. So we'll keep on going through. Here is our next one. This is the Knight Arcanum. Sort of like a sorcerer or spellcaster. Obviously, once again, you have the two different head options. Very cool. Very, very cool. Got the book and scrolls, obviously the staff. Definitely doing sort of like a casting, like kind of magic looking pose there. Really like this. I like the robe and everything. Once again, you can see like the armor is a little more athletic. You can see also that the textured bases are definitely a thing. That's very exciting, as I'm all about the bases. I think doing a nice base takes the model to the next level. And you know, it's a lot of work and time and everything. I'd rather have a little something to start with and then just sort of like build onto that and make it look better. So these obviously have like the sculpted style bases, which are becoming more popular. So next we have the Knight Vexillar, the banner of Apotheosis, something like that. So this is obviously like a banner bearer. Definitely glad to see this sword in one hand and the banner in another. Once again, absolutely phenomenal sculpt. They show the front and back of this one, and once again, textured base, textured banner. Very, very cool looking. This is going to be phenomenal. I've always liked the overall aesthetic of the Stormcast, but these just take it to the next level, as it has like much more of like the armored kind of Spartan look to them. And I like that they're a little more athletic. The other ones were just a little too sort of stubby, I guess you could say. And I think every army needs a banner bearer. So here we have the Praetors. Again, very cool. Double-handed axes. A couple nice poses. Sort of like the protector look to them. Much more athletic, obviously. And again, you can see like the cool textured bases as well. The capes are really cool, like kind of blowing in the wind. And weapons, obviously nice and intimidating. You know, these things are phenomenal. Obviously, so far, so good. Really liking all these models. So the Annihilators have already been previewed, but here's a better look at them. They have a hammer in one hand and shield in the other. Again, very nice looking. They appear to have the textured style bases as well. And you know, these ones are like the heavily armored ones. I like the kind of lion look face built into the armor. Next we have the Vindicators. Once again, these were already kind of shown off. There appear to be like a couple different ways you can pose these. I'm not sure if there's going to be, obviously there's going to be like a full kit as well, but once again you have like the banner bearer. See how they're like a little bit different poses here for the Vindicators. But once again, you know, some options will be nice. Looks like they're going to do quite a few like head options, some weapon options as well. Very cool, very cool. And again, if you haven't checked out this video, I highly recommend you go through and take a look at that, because it is phenomenal. And I did not know going into the video who they were going to be fighting. So next we have the Kruleboyz is the name of the new orcs. This is the killer boss on Great Gnashtooth. And you can see what I mean right off the bat. The aesthetic on these is absolutely phenomenal. These things are ferocious. Definitely do not have like that cartoony look that the typical like Sigmar or fantasy kind of like orcs and goblins have. These dudes are mean and scary looking, and that mount is absolutely scary looking as well. Really like the look of the shield too. They've definitely taken like the squig look and kind of like made some shields out of them. Everything about this dude is just like gruesome and rugged and scary. Big fan of this. I cannot wait to see these models. They really have like brought back like the fire for orcs and goblins. I think we'll see a lot more of these coming back out, as they're much more like athletic, and again they kind of have like the Lord of the Rings kind of look to them. These remind me obviously of like the Wargriders from the movies, but very cool. So much detail on them. And again, I'm not sure exactly what options they're going to have, but it appears that there's going to be like a few different options as far as like equipment and heads and stuff like that. So it's nice, as normally these are definitely going to be like the monopose sets that we typically see in like our box sets or starter sets. But again, I did not see anything about like the actual rule book or anything released in this. So I'm assuming there will be like a smaller starter set released later on, possibly with like a terrain, the rule book, some dice, all that for new players. But this appears to just be like the 2-faction army box similar to Indomitus. Hopefully it does not sell out as fast. Next for the Kruleboyz, we have the Swamp Kala Shaman and Hobgratz. So he obviously has like his little grot with him, his little assistant. This is clearly like a orc hag type sorcerer, kind of like. Very cool. Once again, awesome aesthetic. He has like a giant skull on his back. I'm not sure if he'll get like some kind of armor from it or if it's just for looks, but very, very cool. He's like clearly pouring out some kind of like liquid potion-y type thing. And, once again, we've got those sculpted bases. Absolutely phenomenal aesthetic. Not stubby like the typical orcs and goblins are. They kind of stretched them out and made them just slightly more humanoid, which I think really helps with the aesthetic overall. And again, just kind of like, I think the blend making them just slightly more humanoid and giving them a little more like stature to them and a little more like grimy and less cartoony really just like ups the game on these bad boys. So very impressive, and it only gets better as we go. I think a lot of these models will make their way not only into fantasy, but also into like Dungeons and Dragons games, and then conversions as well. So, but yeah, Swamp Kala Shaman is absolutely awesome. Once again, all these models so far are phenomenal. Let me know what you think in the comments. So, here for the Kruleboyz, we've got the Killer Boss with Stabgrot. So once again, you can see the difference with the Grot. I mean, he's armored up and actually looks like intimidating. Doesn't just look like some little joke. And then the Killer Boss is, I mean, this dude is a beast. And once again, you can see the options for either a shield or he has like the big like mace on a chain ball thing going on there. And then obviously the axe in the other hand. So once again, you can see there's definitely some options. He has like the sculpted base. And, again, this has got that like Lord of the Rings, ORRUK, like kind of look to him. Merkanob with Belchabana. So again, we see like the banner bearer, and again, you can see what I mean about like the stretched out kind of humanoid look. Definitely like the squig aesthetic on the banner, and like the big old tongue hanging down, and then again on like the stomach or like chest plate there. Severed heads, skulls, all that stuff. Just much more of like a grim dark kind of look to it. And again, none of that like kind of like cartoony look. And once again, we can see with the base there, it's sculpted as well. Very, very impressive. These things are absolutely awesome. They did a slight preview, but this is just killing it. Next for the Kruleboyz, we've got the Man Skewer Bolt Boys. So these guys have like crossbows, but the crossbow is like on the end of a spear with like a big old jabber on there. And then they have like the giant arrows they're shooting as well. So, obviously going to have some kind of like close-up capabilities, but probably have a pretty substantial ranged attack as well. Once again, awesome models. Absolutely killing it with these things. The armor looks awesome with the face shields and everything. And then I like that the leader's got his face shield like flipped up. Gut Rippers are next here. So they've got like those squig style shields, and then obviously like some kind of glaive looking spears. I'm not sure. They look like they maybe could be throwing weapons. Potentially just close combat. I'm not totally sure here. But again, the new aesthetic on them is absolutely phenomenal. Definitely has much more of a like aggressive kind of like orc / humanoid look. Not just like your stubby little like old school orcs or goblins. And again, the detail and the grimdark aesthetic is awesome. So these are the Hobgratz, clearly like hobgoblins. The Hobgratz Slitas. They have a bunch of different weapons. Everything from like the leader there has like a hook hand. We've got like a banner bearer that's kind of cut off on the preview there. Very, very cool overall. Drummer. They've got looks like some little maces and just little daggers, but much more intimidating than your typical like grots are. Like they don't have that comical look. They actually look like ferocious. And again, like these are like supposed to be the hobgoblins or hobgrots. So they're supposed to be, I think, like part human or a little more like humanoid and a little less like overall orky. So, but here is the overall box set with everything. As you can see, quite a nice set. Definitely comes with the War Scroll cards. Oh, look, it does have the rulebook in there. So maybe this is the starter set. I didn't see anything about like dice or ruler or anything like that, so it kind of threw me off. I guess maybe this will be the starter set, and they're going with extra models and no terrain. And I guess they just assume you'll have your own like ruler and dice and whatnot, which is fine. There's obviously like a it's like a campaign or something in there as well. So yeah, that is a little bit of a surprise. Obviously, I'm having like a first look at all this stuff as well. but very cool overall. All the models are awesome. It looks like this thing is going to be packed. I'm definitely guessing right around like the 200 to maybe a little more price range in USD. Let's see, if we were comparing it kind of like to the previous box sets, like for 40K, I think it was right around like, I believe 160. So I'm assuming this will be around that range as well. Looks like it's going to be a great value, because if you figure that most of the start collecting boxes have gone to like that $95 range, two of those is like 190 bucks, and then you get the core rule book in there as well. So we may see this closer to like 220 to 230, or perhaps it'll just be a little better of a value because it does come with the rule book as well. But absolutely killed it with these models. Cannot wait to get my hands on any of them. I'm hoping that some of what we're seeing in the background here, like the terrain or scenery, is going to be coming out as well. I definitely would like to see like kind of some swampy looking terrain for the fantasy world. You know, like the ruins. Absolutely awesome. But again, that's just a guess. This may just all be stuff that they've made like in-house or in studio just to kind of display this. They may have made like a custom board up, but I'm hoping some of this will be available as well. So, but again, if you like the preview today and kind of taking a look at everything, highly recommend that you give us a like and subscribe. This is obviously an awesome release and very exciting. You know, they do an unboxing on their channel as well, obviously showing off like a little book here and everything, and I'm sure we're going to be getting more about like the release dates, the pricing, all that stuff. But in the meantime, take a look at that video as well from Games Workshop. Just like the preview for them, and kind of shows a little bit of like the clash. Very cool. They showed like a little bit of the battle, and there was obviously some excerpts in this video as well. And then they actually do an unboxing on the channel also. But if you want to take a look at that, feel free to go and do so at your own, you know, in your own time there. But I just wanted to take a look at this and kind of give my feedback on it as well. Very cool, very impressive. I absolutely cannot wait for this to come out. This is the new Age of Sigmar Dominion reveal. I am Warhammer Man. This is Warhammer Man Studios, and I'm out of here.